you. Well, good evening, everyone. Welcome to the September meeting for the Wisconsin Woodworkers Guild. Got a couple announcements and then we'll get into the presentation. I have not received any emails, anything as far as the election. We're going to go 30 more days. After that, we will probably call it by acclamation, as Jack is telling me. So all the officers will stay the same, all the directors, the chair people, unless we hear from somebody out there that might want to send me an email. Man of the Year, we've decided we will not have one this year, since we are not having our Christmas party due to the COVID-19. We're thinking it'd be more of a popularity contest rather than, somebody that, we can brag about their work. So there will not be a Christmas party. There will not be a Man of the Year award. And then again, the elections at the state will stay the same. I talked with Rich as part of the toy group. It's been pretty much the same. The shelters are excited about getting the gifts, but Rich has not heard anything from any members. He's going to reach out to the Godfrey group in the next week or so. He wants to talk to the people that come into Woodcraft and see what they're going to do. So if you happen to be one of them, touch base with Rich. Let him know you're willing, and we'll take it from there. We've been working on some lighting and some AV equipment down here. We're still having a couple of hiccups, but we're trying to make them, the best that we can for these Zoom meetings. We had an announcement. Old Al that always comes with Gary, I think his last name is Hardway. Al turned 94 last month, so he's alive and kicking, and he wants to get back to the meetings. I guess he's bored, so that's one of them. And we also have a new woodworker that just came along. Alex and Christy Leffelman got a daughter here, Joanna Rose. So we're hoping that, we'll bring her to the meetings when she's a little bit older. We can get another woodworker out of that. So congratulations to Al, Alex, and Christy. Walt Hancock has called me or sent me an email and told me that he has a dust collection system that he wants to get rid of. If anybody is interested in it, you might give him a call. I know he isn't in the directory. Either send him an email or maybe even make a phone call to him. I'm not sure. It almost sounded like he wants. I'm on. Okay. Back again. I know it's nothing. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Almost sounded as if he just wanted to give it away, but give him a call and check with him. And then at the board meeting last Saturday, we had discussed membership renewal. And because of the COVID-19 problem, we were thinking that next year there will not be any dues due from anybody. We're just going to continue the same as we had this year because we really haven't been going on the way we normally would. We can't do here. We're trying to do the best we can with the Zoom meetings, but we thought it would probably best thing for all the members if we just did not collect a membership. There are some of them that still offered to pay their membership for next year. We will not say no. If they want to pay them, you can pay them. It'll simply help to set the treasury up, so we're in a little bit better shape. I think this, as of this month, we got Greg, just over $5,500. Right? $5,737.52. As of right now. So, just to let you know where we stand with that. I think that's all I have here. I haven't heard anything from anybody else if they want to announce anything. So other than that, I guess we could probably just get into our speaker for this evening. It's going to be Matt Bowman. Matt was a member years ago, and I think probably business staff.
Yeah, business and kids.
Business and kids. So I think, we'll probably just turn it over to Matt, instead of doing crown molding tonight, and show us some angles. So, Matt, tell you.
Okay. So the first thing we want to know when we're going to do crown molding is that you walk into a room and just kind of look around and assess the situation. And in a typical room, you typically have, in a room that's getting crown molding, take a living room or family room or kitchen, you'll have, generally speaking, rooms are rectangles, and then they have architectural details on various walls. So I always like to plan it so that the joints are the least visible as you enter the room. So if you're going to have in a rectangle, let's take an average living room, a dimension of 18 by 16. So if the entrance is on one of the narrow ends, you will have two long edges that'll need a splice in them, and then two short edges that often have the architectural details. So the way I would handle a typical rectangular room like that is I would, like on the end where the door is, I would just put that piece up right away, butt to butt, wall to wall, no miters on it. And we have one right here that is from here to here. And so what I was describing is if we entered the room through a doorway here, this would be the wall behind us. And so these joints are the last ones. Technical difficulty.
Yeah,
These joints are the last ones anyone would see, whereas the ones as you're entering the room will be the first to look at. So, so I want to make sure, so this area is the least important. This wall is going to have the joint in it, so I want to make it in the least visible spot. So I would typically make the joints like down here, and maybe also on this end, or maybe alternated. So if this was a 18-foot wall, I'd have a 16-foot piece with a 2-foot joint to finish into the wall. So, so that's just how you think about doing the room is to make your job a lot easier, and it can make any of the most difficult joints easier to do them so that they're the easy one to do. Now, so what we have here is we have an inside corner, which every room has at least one of those, and all we got to do is get our measurement along the wall, and we're like a strong 31, and so what I do is just so the first thing I'm going to do for when you're cutting molding, you always cut it upside down, and that way you don't need a compound miter. You can just use your saw with the blade. I got it straight up and down at a 90-degree angle, and this molding happens to be the same on the top and the bottom. So you're going to have to pay attention when you're doing it that you cut your top the correct way. This molding is very similar to this molding. It's got a larger cold. I should maybe go through some of the terms. This one has the cold just like this. It has beads on the top and bottom just like this one, but it also has this small cold space. Zoom in on it. There you go. This one has a small cove at the bottom, so it just has one more detail on here, which, just add a little more, interest to it. One thing, I was wondering, this was rolled with paper back then, is that something you could, how much you get about a 2-foot square piece of that? And I'll go through, some of the basic types of shapes, but while he's getting that, what I'm gonna do is, so, if I'm gonna put this molding upside down, I want this thing always in the same relationship. This molding is a real nice molding with a good flat area around it. And not all moldings come like that. I believe that this white one has the actual bevels on the back side are not all of them are designed to lay perfectly flat, like you kind of see. If I were going to try cutting this, like knowing how do I want this to lay on here is important, so that when I cut it, I always cut it the same way. And the simplest way to do that is to just take a pencil, put a mark on, get a good big mark on the top fence, on the bottom fence, and do that every so often so that you know you're getting it, when you go to make a cut, you can check that right there. You're in the ballpark. What I'm going to do with this piece of molding, even though it's nice, gives us a nice height in the saw. I'm going to take these little blocks of wood, and I put some carpet tape on, which I have two-sided tape, and I'll just put these down on right there. So that's going to stay there, and the other one's going to stay. On the wood, the tape is a little wider. So this. So that's gonna, every time we put our wood in here, we're gonna have a reference at least. And you can put another one across the top, or a lot of people make boxes, actual a jig that you're molding can sit in. Is another way to do it. So on this one, since we're getting a square cut, and then I'm taking a 31-inch piece, but I wind up measuring everything a lot. And that's one of the tricks, is to measure a lot, and oftentimes I cut things long because you want to ease into the exact length and try and get it just right. So this one. So we got our piece here, and I made this handy little clamp here, and let's see where I like. So right now, we got this up in here. And then decide if I like. See how you gotta kind of find the way that it wants to sit. So then, if I were working alone, I could just take something like that to hold it in place. You get the idea. Let me fall out of there again. You can use pieces of wood like this. There's things you can buy probably upstairs in Woodcraft, some third hands, I think they would call them. Or I also use pieces of half-inch PVC pipe that is cheap, and you can make a little clamp like that. So now we got to decide what our next thing we're going to do here. And we're going to, in order to get on an inside angle like this, cutting an inside miter, you can never get it to close tightly. So it's always better to coat the molding to match the shape. And the way that you do that is you cut the angle on the miter box, but then when you got your cut, then you remove the waste. And I'll show you that. So we've got an inside miter. So that will be like this mold. So we're going to mark this as the top, and we're going to cut the inside miter. So at the top of my molding, out of the saw, and be careful here. I'll mark this because this molding is the same on the top and bottom. On this other molding, I know exactly how to place it on the saw. So I'm going to do an inside miter. So I want the top of the board, the top of the molding is going to be shorter than the bottom. So just in my mind, that helps me think of, I got the piece on the saw, the ceilings, this is the ceiling, and I want this to be shorter. So I'm just going to take my saw up and put that at 45-degree angle and cut my inside. So this, I don't know if you want to take a zoom at that. So now, when we put this up here, we got a problem. And the problem is all of this needs to be wasted away so that when it, so if this, it's hard to show here, but this part is what we want to meet on this face right here is we want this edge of the molding to be exactly touching the face here. And the way we're going to make that happen is we're going to coat this. So one thing that to note is I'm doing this, I'm doing the hardest part. I got a piece of wood and I'm doing the hardest joint first, because if I make a mistake, I can just cut it off and make another one. I don't want to do the easy stuff and put it all together and then to get to the hard one and make a mistake, and then I got to do the whole thing over. I'm going to do this coating first, And this might be a little hard to see on camera, but do the best we can here. So, this is probably okay. So I got the old-fashioned coping saw here, and you just the trick is it's kind of hard to conceive of this. Even though I do this all the time, you would think if all you did was cut this straight down, that would be enough. But you really have to back cut the back side it's at about, it's probably 90 degrees to this face would be the right angle, but you go a little extra, so you probably go 95 degrees just so you don't have any of that, this wood back here in your way. Just trying to waste it away. So I'm just eyeballing this and I'm exaggerating my cut. And so I just go in and I follow my line. I need to darken this up for you guys here. This line right here, I don't know if you guys can see this at all or not, but this is what I'm trying to follow, the cut edge on the face. And so I got my saw, and I'm probably doing about 100-degree angle compared to this face. And just want to go in and trick is to do this. Last time I did this, I was doing pine, and it's a lot easier. And I don't have an extra blade here, so I have to be extra careful that I don't break my blade. This is a nice hardwood one. So I'll do the same thing. Oh, one thing I didn't tell you is the bottom, which goes right here. You just leave that as a butt joint in the corner. It makes it easier. So the way to do that is you just cut right square here. That off. So now back to our open. And do each little section kind of like on a bandsaw. How, if you're doing a pipe burn on a bandsaw, you maybe got to come in from a couple different directions to follow the curve. with. All right. Now, that's the easy part, this long street and the curve. So, let's see all these pieces. See what we've done here on these small details. We really backcut that severely. And the idea is now when it goes to make this, we've gotten rid of enough of it that we now. So the idea is, if I'm standing here looking at this, on the camera, I don't know if you can see it, right here, it looks beautiful. But nobody can see anything. If I go right up to it, in my opinion, it's not acceptable. And so then the question is, what's wrong? And I maybe don't have them in the same relationship here, which is one of the reasons why it's nice to not nail that first piece of wood up. Making sure you got it the way you want it to look. So, I was gonna say, maybe it's looking like I saw it, not me, but, let me go around with it a little bit. Is there, am I making this clear, or is it coming up on the camera? Yeah, camera, you like this? So that's the idea. is to waste away the backside so that even if I did cut the two inside miters, and one, you might ask why, oh, you know what might have been a problem there. I didn't mark that first piece of molding as to what was my top edge of my body. So I could have, we're gonna go with that. This gun that I have here, I got a couple guns that I'll show you that I use. I use typically 3 different types of guns are helpful. This one is an angle, 2.5 inch, 16 gauge gun, and I think I bought it right here at Woodcraft. And the angle just helps you get up in these areas, and you can pretty much shoot anything you want. And having a 2.5 inch nail is important, just because when you are shooting at an angle, you need that length to hit the stud. And then I also have, this is just a cheap. This gun is probably like a Harbor Freight, where it does narrow crown staples, and I think there's 15 gauge braid, 18 gauge, 18 gauge brad nails. 2 inches. Up the way over this quick. I don't do that anymore. Then the third gun that I have then is this micro fitter that is real nice. If we were working on pre-finished material, one of these whole things until the glue dries, the micro fitter is really good for that. So let's get back to my coat here, and this is much better. And remember that this is pink tape, but I can tell you right now, you might not see it on the camera, but this one's tight to the ceiling here, and this one is got a gap. So I can assume, like when I'm looking at this, this is what I was trying to tell you. And even though I've done this hundreds of times, it doesn't make sense to me that why do you gotta waste all this away back here when you would think you got the line there, you just had a 90 degree on there, it would be out of the way. But it has to do with the fact that it's up there on this angle, and this stuff gets in the way of getting a tight fit on your line. So all I'm gonna do here now, let me see, I got a rasp and a couple of pliers. Okay, this is okay. All right. Oh, great. We'll do that there. Let's make it line there. Tell you what, I'll just use what I have. So now, I know that I see this little bump right here. Get rid of a little more of that. And this brings up one other ways of doing this coping world. And I like using the coping saw. It does a good job. But when you got a little extra to get rid of, it gets harder. So one of the things, if you look on YouTube, you look up crown molding coping with a angle grinder, and you'll see I've done it this way often as well. And there's a guy who'll take the angle grinder and the disc would be the roll of tape. This was a disc. I would wood clamp just like I did, and he would take the disc like this and just grind this stuff away as he's looking right at his line, wasting that stuff away. And as you can see, nice a 4-inch curve on a grinding wheel is just about the right amount to really waste this material off the backside. So that's a modern way. It's you got to have a strong hand, and if you are trying to do like precision angle grinding, I would do it with hold your tool with your elbows like in your side and hold it, and not worry about this being clamped out. You just kind of carefully learn how to do that, and you're going to mess it up a few times until you get the hang of it if you try doing it that way. Otherwise, the coping saw is just fine. You just got to make sure that you get all of this back cutting. I'm going to just take one more. We'll just for now, I'm going to leave this. So the next thing we got here, we've got an outside corner. It's a 22.5-degree angle. In old homes, you rarely find this kind of situation, but you might find it on kitchen cabinets. Often will have an angled cabinet, and you might also find it on in a modern home. They're more inclined to have these 22-degree angles. So what we need to do is my next thing that I didn't mention before. You saw me measure this, but one of my jokes is I try to measure as little as possible and do half as much mathematics just so I make less mistakes. So on this piece, typically, this corner would be finished off, and I could just go and just put my mark right on the corner, and I would know pretty close to where I'm gonna cut that piece. For this one, I'm just gonna eyeball it a little bit here, and I'm gonna cut it a little long, which is something. If I'm ever working with a new person that hasn't done a lot of crown molding, I do a lot of cuts on a, just to do a couple joints here. Sometimes I might do 10, 15 different cuts just to kind of nibble it into the correct amount. So what I'm going to do here now, the one mark was on the bottom. So just so I don't mess this up, I got at the top. And it's an outside miter, and it's 22.5. So, if I had, well, let's see, now I gotta do math. So, just so even doing this all the time, what I'll do is I will just check without cutting my good stuff. I'll check. Okay, so if that's really 90 plus 22.5. So if I'm guessing correctly, I need half of that, which is about 11 degrees plus 45. So I need a 55-degree angle. I'm not sure we can do that. So let's see if we can do it. Now we get to see, okay, my math is totally wrong. So maybe it's 45 minus 11.5. See, if I cut my molding, I just would have wasted well, I also, that's one other thing I should say when you do a job like this, always do your longest pieces first. So if you had a 16-footer and you made a mistake on one end, you can still use it for a lot of different, even if it was 15 feet, 11 inches, or whatever like that, you can still use it. So now, so I got 45. Let's try 34. At least in the ballpark. And this brings up one question for, so I was a little bit open on the inside, so, but very close. So when I do this outside, I very likely am not going to get it exactly what the room is, but we'll worry about that next. So we're at 34 degrees, and this is my top, mark my top on my molding, and that goes down. And on this one, I know that my top, see on the inside corner, my top edge is the short length, and the long length goes all the way into the wall at the bottom. And the top one hits the other crown. Now I know over here, the top is going to protrude out farther, so I know that I want this cut to be in the same direction as this, even though we're changing the angle on it. So I'm going to put that to the top comes down, and then I turn it. So we have the mark right here, and like I said, I'm going to leave this mark long. I'm doing 34.5, so I'm really eyeballing this up right now. And see, I got that block on here, that's handy, so I know my molding is right in the same direction. So, leave it about, because we have walls in that corner, we leave it about 4 inches long, just to, also to draw a line on here. Because I won't have my piece on the rotating. Now, go back. And check this out. Let's put a little just to see it joint inside. I've got one more where I want it. And you can see, okay, I definitely have that joint to quite a bit actually. So that's 8 inches on my mark. So, at least I'm not having to go up and down the ladder. As I'm driving over here, I'm trying to think how much ground only have I put up, and I thought, okay, I've used 100 feet. How many rooms have I done? I thought somewhere between 5 and 10 miles of opening that I might have put up. But then I figured if I went up and down the ladder 10 times for every 10-foot piece, maybe I've done 50 miles up and down the ladder. So that you need a picture. No, I need a young guy. So now this is where this line I drew on the company because I can do my swimming line. You can nibble that 3 or 4 or 5 times just to get exactly where I wanted to cut it. So now that piece goes up like that, and what I'm going to do now is I just gotta make so this is our 34.5-degree angle. I gotta make yeah, so what I'm looking at here is if I cut it this way, I might be able to use this piece right on the other piece here. So I'm going to use this top block. So I'm marking my top again so that I put it on the saw upside down. And because it's an outside miter, I know that the top is a longer direction, so I'll change my saw over to 34 degrees the other way. And so what we have is here's the outside wire, and okay, so since we we have a limited amount of holes. Yeah, this. I guess for now, what we'll do is that. So the next thing I'm going to show is one. So on these outside corners, it's always nice if you can do them on the bench. You can move these together, let's get on the bench. And two of my favorite ways to do this are if you, most of you guys in the building know about the using a gel super glue and the accelerant. I was noticing upstairs, I haven't bought any in a while. At Woodcraft, they have the set time right on there, so it seems like they don't even need the accelerants anymore. Well, I brought just some generic stuff here. I'm not sure if this is going to work. But that's one way. Is that all you would do is you put the gel glue on there, and you might even hold it back from the front edge so you don't get a lot of squeeze out, and you spray your accelerant on the other piece. You put them together and hold them in place, and you got a joint there. Other than that, what I also use a lot of is, and I don't have any of this either tonight, is fiberglass tape that called strapping tape. And you can get it, the thin stuff is the best stuff, and it's 3/4 inch strapping tape, and I use that for all kinds of assemblies that I do. I really like, you can rub it down on a one piece, and then fold it over and really get your joint right. I can try that same thing with, some little pieces of these, up there I had a couple of pieces of just regular packing material. Anything that you can pull through a little tight or and then there are various different Pythons, and I think there's even a gas set Python as well now for molding. I meant to look upstairs to see if Chris sells the molding formula, and that stuff is set in a couple of minutes. This is Python 2, which will work, and I don't like using it, generally speaking, just because if you get it on your shirt, it doesn't wash out. So I tend to only use waterproof when you need it. Right there. So we could take, and like I said, strapping tape would be a way better option than this stuff. But you will use it anyways. And you can go this morning here is food grade. They don't have to be real fussy about it is a hardwood molding, but with these, you can see these finger joints in it. It definitely was intended to be painted. So all I can do is go together. Now the nice thing about the strapping tape is go right around and use 2 or 3 strips to go out. Alternatively, on a molding this big, you can use just about any nail in here you want as well. And I think I do have a couple of micro tubes and nail through the trim tool. Just to use if you're doing these micro tubes, you want to hand, you kind of do them like a dovetail, like crisscrossing each other.
They almost did a lot.
Yeah, and I mean they're not. If I drop this, it will fall apart right now. But this would be fine to pull out. Like this, so. Now, because it's paint grade, I would go ahead and just take a little caulk, and I would caulk, just smooth it right in there and clean it up nice with a rag. And then I would also caulk. One of my pet peeves in moldings is when they're not tight to the walls or ceiling, you see those gaps, the shadow edge. One of the beautiful, and this is something I should say, because this is paint grade, painted moldings are really a great option because they show all the highlights and the shadows of the shapes. Whereas if this were dark oak or walnuts, it would tend to just kind of flatten out and you might not notice all the detail in the molding. So if you're going to do a really dark wood molding, you can oftentimes keep it real simple with just these cold shapes and a few details on it. With paint grade, I like it all tight and caulked to the walls and the ceiling. And that's a skill in itself. Learning how to caulk this without making a big mess is it's a real skill. So we got we're halfway here. So now what we got here is we got the same thing. We got to coat another piece into here, and then we got to wrap it around. And one of the things that I would say in this particular situation, if you notice how sharp I had to coat the back side of that 90-degree piece or corner on a 45, that coat would have to be, if it was 90 degrees from the face of the miter, this would have to be 90 and 22. You have a very sharp, I really have to coat the back side of it to get that to work. So what I would probably best be served doing here is to not, even though this is an inside corner, I would probably miter it, and since they're short pieces, I could glue it and tape it and nail it on the backside as a unit and put it up, and that would make sure that I got a nice inner joint there. the one thing I didn't say about a lot of this kind of work is, you know, in most buildings, none of these things are straight and square. So that can really cause some problems. And that's why these copes become more important. If the walls aren't meeting at 90 degrees, you could have a perfect 45 cuts on your miter, and they just won't go together because of the room. So,
After we do a 35 inch, you can show us exactly what you want.
yeah. So to start here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And if these are let's go on.
Okay.
I'm not really watching my time. So
We got an hour.
Okay, yeah, okay. So let's start by some pieces here. So we got one, we're going to want it's going to be about a foot long, and another is going to be about 7 4. So so that's the siding. This is going to go up here like this. We're going to have an outside miter on this end, and we will always see top. So top down. Yeah, I have one of those miter saw stands that has the arms out ways. Now, that at least holds it 4 or 5 feet. But if you work with long board, which is it's a lot extra work to do. Well, it gives you a better result, and it's harder to do, but I think it's worth using the long board. So I'll have my miter stand support, but then I'll oftentimes put up whenever I have to, you know, depending on how floppy the molds are, just to make it a little easier to hang on. So we outside miter, we want to be well on here. Marking the top. And we're working on the same side of the piece of mold. So we got this here, and what we're going to need to do is just put a mark here, just to give you an idea how long we need this. It really needs to be set. So, we have about 75 days. So what I want to do is I'll cut this at about 7 days. And then the wall. That on the top.
keep it the same orientation. Now, that's a 45 degrees. I need a 22 and a half, which we have a stop on our saw, 22 and a half. And we'll cut that inside miter. So inside miter generally go in the same direction as the outside miter. So just gonna put it up here and see what I think it is. And we're I'm gonna leave that alone for now, set it aside. And I'm gonna work on this other piece, which is gonna go right here with 22 and a half degrees on this side and a 22 and a half right here. So what my marks on here that put on previously, so that at the top, this is the ceiling, this is the saw, and this is the wall. So I'm going to rough measurement. And long. And the top is too long this time. And you can see those. See, I got to do this over and over again. The top has to be shorter on the inside line, just like that. Still has to be shorter even though it's a 45. So my bottom needs to be the long edge. I'm going to go this. Yes, it's only like this. What I was just realizing is I'm cutting this corner right now, and I'll cut that one next. So I'm just going to get this one into the city. That's what was confusing. I'll just measure it again. Go up my ladder again. 13. So I need when I do this, since you keep it a hook and your tape measure on there this way, I usually do it from the 10 because I can't remember it had 1 inch on the 13 and then 4 gauges. So I often go from 10 and I know it's 23. Easy on my brain. Less mathematics. So I know when I need another. Lucky I had no T on there. Say it was the top. And I got the mark here. So picture, let's say, just a quarter inch long is to, the east side. Now, see, now, I'm doing it wrong again. So on the inside miter, my top edge is going to be shorter. So I know, and it will be 120 to the half to the top. And do this way. Does that make sense? I've got a short top and a short top. Yeah, I've got two inside miters over here. So. I've got about an 1/8 inch long. Like I said, never do math, never method. So, what do we got? At the bottom, I need 13 inches. So on top, yeah, see, that's what I did. I'm gonna do the top first. So this is good, because I just made it too long. So I only wasted 3 inches. So what I need is my bottom. 13 inches. Both my cuts are good. Just 16 inches apart. So I even do it from the right end because it's be more soft. So I'm still gonna cut this a little bit. So now what I do? Oh, there we go. I cut my T off. So now I don't even know which one was the top. Oh. Everyone is wrong. So let's mark our top again. So we got. Okay, so we got the song the right way, and maybe this is a good way, a good time to this. If you guys are doing this for the first time ever, and if I can do it the wrong way, you guys gotta just have some extra molding. And like I said, always cut your longest pieces first. That way you can do all this little stuff out of the pieces that fall off. So now, okay, so that this one's still long, this one's too short. But I know it's all so this is what you see that with a camera. So on a 45, like you go like this, this is the problem on a 45. If you want to not get, you want to do these gaps in there. And this shallow angle, we're actually getting a fairly tight point here. Now, if these were big pieces of molding and the room wasn't square and the ceiling was not level, it would exaggerate all this stuff. And you just have to do the best you can, and being paint grade, it actually, you can fill this in, and if you gotta fill it in with go ahead and do that. So I got this one now, just need to walk along like this. I'm going to mark this piece that is correct. And I know that it's 22.5 our left. So what I would probably do is so we got that one. Now it's like I'm going to do in this corner here. Well, this is the same cut. So what I'm going to do here, I'm going to make that cut right now without changing my saw. And you know that good. So this is the top of my molding. I got my keys on there. You don't want to do it right on that end. And then I want to put this key top of the molding there. Maybe just realize maybe instead of calling it top of the molding, I should call it ceiling. Because it's soft, so it's the cable is the seal, and this is the wall. So the light there, magic marker C on here and W up there. So then we know the wall side is the ceiling side. You can see how both these little blocks are here. And now you go back and this is the inside on the wall. So right here. I'm just gonna cut this one off here, so we got our extra molding for the rest of. Oh, I'm sorry. Now, this piece is gonna go here. Because we don't have these tight, and this is one of the things, this is one of the things I should, how I was saying, one of the reasons why we coat that joint over there is that we notice, like, we don't even know where this wall comes into a corner here. And when the drywall or plaster people do this, that's not gonna be a nice tight corner at a 45-degree angle that we're gonna get because we have, plywood and plywood ceiling there, everything is, gonna go together wonderfully. Now, if this were all rounded in here with a big smooth bit of plaster, rounding that 45-degree angle there, we might have to take on the back side of our molding, this wall we're round here, you might have to take and round the back side on here. And with this molding, with a nice flat like this, you might do that with on the bottom of a belt sander or something, might take some of that off, just so you can get this piece away right flat here and coming to that point if it's got to follow the contour of the wall. And that would be a common thing right here where they're not going to get that the drywall mud to make a nice tight corner there. So now back to alleviating the piece we messed up. So we need this one. We could put that in there. We got a stick again to hold it in place. There we go. All the pieces cut. Now, we know that we need top the molding teeth, the top, like this, and our top is short, and our bottom edge is long. So, when we put on the slide, upside down, our top is short. Our bottom is long, and we know our angle is a 10 feet. Yes. Cool. The other thing I do know when you're doing this, the gate is always the opposite direction. So I know we cut that piece, that end of that piece to solve 22 here. So we'll cut that and then kind of the wall and the and definitely going on the 10th. So, everything we're gonna have, is, we can go all in. So, let's see this sort of the top, down. Short length, and allow go along. Here we go, one more time. That's enough to be quarter. Again, we did this wrong again, but we'll salvage this again. So we got 13 is our bottom right, and then there's on the top. So we're gonna put our bottom half in the short edge. So it's not dead, we can put knock off. So, and we measure our mark on the bottom. Is 13 feet. So, see what we got now. There we go. Okay, so we're in there, we're still rolling along. And I'm seeing here about 3/8 of an inch long. So I'm just gonna go back and start nibbling at this. And remember, every time I do this, go up and down the ladder. But it's still working. Doing it little by little, but you notice I wasted already. See right there, I didn't have this all the way here, so it wasn't quite as long as that. So I was really, really close right now, we're about 65 inches. All right, that's good. Okay, one nice thing about the way I did this was I liked this point, it looked good, so I was glad that I could do all my nibbling over here. So that was like a little, just a nice, happy occurrence, I guess, that it could go like that. So what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna look at And all right, if you notice, I don't use a lot of nails. And I was just working on a job site where, and I'm a cabinet maker. And I was working on a job where there was carpenters, and they might put 6 nails in that one piece of wood, and it doesn't really, by the time you get a couple nails in there, you caulk it, and then the paint and everything else, glue. I like this few nails is just to hold it where you want it, and I've never had anything move around, especially with paint and caulk. So this piece, I'm going to leave this one loose here. We'll get this one. And, right. So, now, what I gotta do is I gotta nibble this one in. The decision I'm trying to make right now is, do I like this position of this enough that I can leave it there? So I think I'm gonna put my little clamp on there. Sure it didn't move. Leave that on there. And all these decisions, you just gotta kind of make this. Now, if I didn't like the way these joints look, I might have decided to leave this piece loose until I get this stuff done. Now, right here, we're going to check it. It looks good. And we're going to go and for once we don't have to measure anything or do any math. We get to just put a pencil mark here. That's exactly where we want that. Now, all right. Now, easy stuff. So now, the stuff that was a mistake, we get to use this probably. Well, see. is literally rocks and just yeah, sure. On my acreage short here, so that's not, that's not gonna work. I guess we got enough here anyways. So now we've got this coat on this side, which, do you want me to do another coat or do you wanna just,
No, it's only in front, like,
do
double
the,
line.
yeah. So the outside corners are always easy because, you just you gotta just cut it. You just gotta cut your 45-degree miters on there. And you just, the only thing you gotta remember is what is your top. So here's my teeth or top, which really means ceiling. And then put that on there. The same thing I did over here, instead of measuring check my way, make sure it's right there, and I'm just gonna, one easy thing to make a mistake is if I went from there, this space is proud of this cut, so I'm gonna actually mark it, just eyeballing where this space is, and as usual, I'm gonna cut it long just to see how I like that first.
Yeah, normally you'll have metal corners on.
Yeah.
That'll be knotted in.
Yeah, that's, just like I said before, the other problem, particularly on a short piece like that, these metal corners, they're gonna stick out about, what is it, at least an eighth or maybe 3/16 proud of this space. So this short little piece, is, it's an 1/8 inch, out of kilter from the metal bead to the inner corner. So we have that rounded inside corner that can be a problem. And then we got this cloud thing here. So that'll float this joint off here. And that's, so we're getting that's a little favor that we're getting for us. Like I said, the trick on this inside edge, you can, on this back side of the bottom molding, you could belt sand that or take a hand plane or anything, a rasp, just to kind of take some of this. A very common thing to do with any molding work that you do is to waste the back sides of it to get it to lay and look good and tight. So these corners are two examples. So if I do have, if I had a piece like this and it was sticking out like this far because of the metal bead there, I'd have to decide, okay, what do I want to do? Am I still able to get this joint looking good? And it's tight here at the point, or maybe I got this gap here, and I can caulk that in, or decide I could tap on, if it's not all painted and totally finished. I've even taken a saw and sawed into that drywall bead. We got rid of it. It really was a problem for me. I could just take a pencil mark here and here, and I know that this stuff's never going to be seen. I could whack it with a hammer to make my life easier because it'll never be seen ever again.
So that front one may not necessarily be a 45 degree, but it might have cut that
Yeah, well, you know, you're right, but we probably, it just, you know, given the constraints of your saw, like, it's just, if you can stick with the stops that are on here and make the wall work with it, otherwise you wind up, you know, when you're changing the angle, all of a sudden if you change one side, or you can't change the other side, and then the actual cut scope and profile of molding doesn't on the wall. You know, so I like to just try to keep it at an angle that works. I mean, obviously, on the ones, we did guess at that 34-degree one, and I mean, we can take our tape off now, the glue's probably set. One thing I should show you that, another little trick, and I don't have a screwdriver, but you can, either a screwdriver or a piece of just anything round like this. When you put this tape on, you just rub it in on your corner. That'll press those wood fibers together and get you a tighter looking joint. Not getting all this. So there's a little glue on this that, because it's paint grade, I wouldn't worry about. If it were getting stained, that would be a real problem. But generally speaking, when I work with stained wood, we would finish it in the shop. Just, I can't get this off of here, but you get the idea. There we go. So if this were wood, it would have the stain and the lacquer on it, and this stuff would just wash right off. That's another reason why I don't like type on 2 or polyurethane glues. You can't wipe that off with water or wet rag or anything. So okay, so you can see, so we guessed at that one, and we still got it to work. And so let's say I guessed a little bit long, and I would have that gap under there. I would rather caulk that into the wall later than monkey around.
Because your miter's tight.
Yeah, the miter, it looks good and it's always gonna look good, and I would plan on caulking that anyways, whether, you know, whether it's perfect or not, it's no problem. Really will caulk them. Now, this one with that, making that outside miter, so we know that our top edge is going to be the long edge. And I'm just talking aloud like this because this is what I do when I'm working at Wisconsin, like in my head. The molding, this table is the ceiling, this is the wall. I'm just always thinking it through, and even doing that, you're working upside down and backwards. So you make this one. Sorry, I like that. Mark the back side of this one. So we'll move it out on the road.
What we're gonna do here. I'm gonna put a line on my slide.
It's really just going up there. Yeah.
So, I'll try to.
Does anybody have any questions for Matt?
Like that.
I wouldn't worry about that side, man. I can't see that from here.
Okay. Well, I'll do it, just, it's a quick one. I won't poke that corner in like the other.
All right.
Well, even though I think the coping is probably the most important thing to learn.
Yeah,
So,
that's true.
but I have to say, YouTube does have some good videos on it. So anybody that's interested in coping, I would say, watch some other guys do it and, see what they.
Take a look at that.
Yeah.
Wire miter, I thought it was a long path, but it's not a miter. Long. Well, another one thing I learned from Chris, the owner of Woodcraft, was an engineer for Milwaukee Electric School that I was doing a year ago. And he had Milwaukee engineering videos of a shop box, and they had like high-speed film of the blade, the part from 2 inches on a 20 blade when something got stuck in there. So And I will put my hand in the field. You wouldn't believe that the blade, probably, and, but, I still remember that all these years. So, okay, so now we got, here, we got here. So, over down. Blue in there. This is where the super blue and so the little mantle thing down, which we don't have with the date period, I wouldn't have any problem. You might get nailed on. It's a little more dangerous. And I'm doing that same kind of uptailing with my nails. Okay. Let's use the microphone. And on one more.
You got the suit.
Oh, yeah. Right. Don't get too much water on there. Okay, so. See, we don't even need 50, even little pins in there. I honestly, I can't even. Now, the joint we're worrying about is this one right here. Now, are we going to get this to go together with all this on there? Yeah, so it all looks good. And my ego, like not liking the nail, like I don't even need a nail on the face. this one here, it would have been exactly the same thing in reverse on the right side as opposed to the left. The only, in conclusion, the only things we haven't done that would be in a room, are the lap joints, like so on the long wall. Like let's say we have windows over here, and that was our 20-foot long wall. We have to do I can probably just quick cut something here. What you do for that is you do a lap. So let's say this is my 16-foot long piece. I would have had my butt joint into the wall. So this would be in this corner. Like if I were going to do this corner, I would have my butt joint right into this wall. And this would be my 16-footer. And I would have this, in fact, I typically don't do a 45 like that. I typically do a 22. The good thing is, so if this one went up first on the long piece, say 16 feet long, I would leave this last like 5 feet of it flopping around up there. I nail it, start it, I have my helper on the long end, I nail it here, but I leave a good chunk of it just hanging in the wind, so that when I go to take that last piece into the wall, that like I said, if I had a 16-footer and the room was 20 feet, I'd have a 4-foot piece, and this would be my 4-footer. I would use this exact same setting on the saw, cut the opposite end without moving the saw at all, and then these two go together, and I could probably take my micro here and glue that right back together, and in a perfect world, like we have here, you wouldn't even see that joint. You know, in a big room where the wall work, you at least get that. The second piece you put on the short piece goes over that, and then you get let's say this one's nailed up, and you get adjust this in until you get it just right, and turn it off. Yeah, okay, so we're good. All right.
Good. Do we have any questions? Anything coming in there, Jerry?
No.
Well, keep in mind, you can also use the angles on, jewelry boxes, or if the tops of cabinets. It just doesn't always have to be on a wall. You can use them anywhere, and that's kind of the reason we brought Matt in tonight, so that, you may not do this on a wall, but if you're building a cabinet, a tree, the things that they put in the front hall closets that hang coats on, you put a decorative top, same idea behind that.
Bookcases, kitchen cabinets.
Yeah.
Fireplace mantles,
Anything like that. The angles still are the
it's
same.
all the same work. And it's even the same on the floor. And the only thing to note, just from a design standpoint, is above the eye, things tend to be curved like this, and below the eye, they tend to curve downward, like a table edge, rounds over. So,
All right, then I think we're good. We are adjourned, gentlemen. Thank you. Matt, thank you very much.
thank you. Oh, yeah, that worked out.
We're done?
Okay.
Yeah, all right. Oh, you finished it.
Yeah, basically. That turned out good.